Tonight I'm going to make gumbo for dinner, and we're going to cook it on top of this wood burning stove. I've cooked on top of this, I think, once before in this cabin, and I've done it once at like a really remote lodge. So we'll see how it goes. To get started, let's go chop some wood. And we're gonna start by placing these guys kind of on the sides here. Let's get a really thin piece, and we're gonna lay that right in the middle. It's a little known trick, but if you take a paper towel and soak it in olive oil, because it burns nice and long and smoothly, and produces a nice good sized flame. So I'm gonna get more olive oil. We got this paper towel.
That explains why we don't have any olive oil ever.
Yeah. And then basically just go all log cabin style on it, and start by putting a couple cross pieces here. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys a really cool trick to making the best roux that you will not burn ever. Get yourself a cast iron or an oven safe pan, and then we are going to get 1 cup of flour. The key thing to know with any time that you're making a roux, what you're actually doing is you're just browning the flour. The oil kind of helps when the traditional way of like using oil and flour, the oil kind of just helps make it a little bit even, but you still have to sit here and basically stir it forever. Let's take this, and we're going to put it into a preheated 400-degree oven, and we're going to bake it until it turns a nice chocolate brown, and that's how you know you got a good roux. Every good gumbo starts with the Holy Trinity: bell pepper, celery, onion. Dice these up nicely in kind of all equivalently sized pieces, and we're going to set that up and get prepped. So what I want to do is just prep everything ahead of time. That way, by the time we're cooking on top of the stove, there's no challenges. I can just dump one bowl in after the next. So let's go. I just had a jalapeno sitting in my fridge, so we're gonna use it. You need to add a little heat to this anyway, so why not use a jalapeno? I don't see any reason not to. Just take that off. Fun trick if you don't really want to have to de-seed things, just do it that way. Just slice right around the side and we'll just dice up this guy. Normally we'd throw like a little dash of cayenne pepper in there as well, but you know, we'll taste it. Like some jalapeno. Okay, next we're gonna cube up our andouille sausage. This is gonna be a chicken and sausage gumbo. I'm not a seafood person, so you know, if you like seafood, you could take this sausage and you can just add some shrimp. You could add some scallops at the end. You could do a whole bunch of different things. All right, next we're gonna just season up about 4 like good sized chicken thighs here. And we just wanna get these guys coated with a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, and some Cajun seasoning. Everything's prepped up. We got our chicken, got our sausage, we got bell pepper, celery, onion, a little bit of jalapeno. Put in there as well some bay leaf, Cajun seasoning, black pepper, and some garlic. You can't forget the garlic. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to wait for the stove to heat up, the wood stove to heat up a bit more. We're going to wait for our flour to finish browning. And once that's done, then we'll get into the cooking process. What are you doing?
Wrapping gifts. It's always one of my favorite things to do. So I got all the ribbon and wrapping paper and yeah.
Okay, so we're getting nice and hot here. Zero likes the warmth too. Let's see how hot we are on the top. We're gonna let this cool down a little bit. Gonna just add another log or two, maybe tighten off the air vent. I want it to be sitting probably right around 350 to 400 degrees on the top of this thing. Got our roux, and this, I don't know if it'll tell from the video, but this is kind of the color of like a slightly lighter cocoa powder. And we're gonna let it cool down in this metal bowl for just a little bit, and then we're gonna add 2 cups of chicken broth to it and whisk it up, and boom, got a roux. So we're gonna start by adding a little bit of a layer of just oil in here, some vegetable oil. We're gonna go right in with our andouille sausage, and what I wanna do is render out some of the fat and some of the oils from the sausage to kind of start flavoring the pan. Okay, so now that the sausage is brown, we're gonna pull that out. We want to leave as much of the oils in the pan as possible. So I'm just taking a scoop, pressing it against the side, making sure all the oil drains back into the pan, because the next step is chicken. Once the chicken is nicely browned on both sides, we're going to go ahead and remove it. We don't want to cook the chicken all the way through at this point. We just want to get some nice color and flavor on the exterior. Then we're going to go ahead and add in our Cajun Holy Trinity. Cook your vegetables till they're nice and soft, and even get a little bit of a golden crust on them.
Next, add a ton of garlic, like 5 to 6 minced cloves worth of garlic. I mean, that's how I prefer it anyway, and garlic's key to the recipe. Now we're gonna measure out 2 cups of chicken broth to add to our roux. Now pour it into your toasted flour and start whisking it up. The goal here is to get as many of the lumps out and make it nice and smooth. Next, we're gonna go ahead and add around 4 cups of chicken broth directly to our softened vegetables, as well as 3 dry bay leaves. Then add your roux to the pot and stir until everything is nice and incorporated. Then let's go ahead and add a touch of Cajun seasoning, maybe around 3 to 4 teaspoons. Add your chicken back into the pot and realize this is gonna cook for around an hour to an hour and a half, so this chicken's gonna get fully cooked through. Next, we're gonna bring up the temperature a little bit of the wood burning stove so we can get this to a nice rolling simmer. And after just a few minutes, we're now bubbling nicely away. Around midway through your cooking process, go ahead and season it with a little bit of salt and pepper. Taste it first just to make sure you know what you're adding. Finally, add a couple of shakes of cayenne depending on how spicy you like it. I'm a fan of heat, but Leah really isn't, so I'm only gonna add a couple of shakes in here just to make sure we get a little bit of extra heat. While our gumbo is simmering away, we're gonna get our rice ready to go. I prefer to use basmati rice for this for the nice flavor that it has and the fact that it gets nice and dried out once you cook it. And of course, you can't have gumbo without a little bit of garlic bread. So let's make that at the same time. After an hour and a half, the chicken is nice and cooked through and very tender. We're gonna remove this to a cutting board. Then we're going to take it over and chop it up and add it back into our gumbo. At this point, it'll be ready to serve.
How is it?
Pretty bomb.
How does it compare to the normal Instapot or stovetop?
I mean, it's nice. We'll really let it sit down and probably cook for an hour and a half or so and really thickened up, but it's delicious.
Tira.
All right, well, we're done with dinner, so time to clean up. Thanks for watching.